G'day gang. It's been a couple of weeks. The weather hasn't been well. Fantastic day today. What a gorgeous day. Going to put some pistons in the Festi. I'm going to spend a bit of time cleaning up stuff here and there. I've gapped the rings up, all that sort of stuff. So we've got our new pistons. I've gapped all the rings. We've got our new bearings, because I did scuff a couple. I marked a couple of pistons, a couple of bearings I marked. I can't remember which ones it was, but I'd rather just, cross instead of match the shells. Should be alright. I also, over the last couple of weeks, did a bit of grinding. Remember this area here was up level, so I ground all those out. They don't look like they shouldn't be there. Then we had it surface ground. I just have to put all that back together again. It was a bit rattly, but I think these that oil was a bit thin, as I recall, when I drained it out of the sump. Pardon me. So our next step now, I want to hone the thing out, so I'll wake up on the stand, I'll grab the hone and we'll talk about that. Actually, I'm going to turn the rods with the counters on the sides so we don't smash them with the hone. And I like to use a bit of WD-40. I like it to scratch up a bit. We want a 45-degree hone. We're going to spin it really slowly and up and down really quickly. We'll even have a look at it and see. We might even be able to make a 45-degree angle and just have a look and see if it actually does it. Anyway, I'll get the hone out and we'll have a bit of a scratch at it. Okay, I've got my hone and I've got my WD-40. Can't remember what grit that is. I think it's about 180 or something like that. I'll spray some WD down there. That guy in there. Slow but fast. A little more. Wait up a second. And bring it in. Hard to regulate the speed. Hey, look there. I could probably go a little faster. We know we're not going to get the 45 degree hatch. You can't do that with by hand. But I'll tell you what, I think that might just about get us there. What do you think about that? I think that should just about get us there. Yeah. I'll go on with the others. And we'll be back. I'll show you the compression test maybe from before, like whatever that was, nearly 18 months ago, when we did a compression test, and the reason why we're pulling the compression out of this thing. Away you go, mate. Okay. Turn it off. That's not a lot of compression in that cylinder. About 80 pounds. Now, even if the gauge is not exactly correct, we'll get an idea of variations. So, away you go again, mate. Okay. $160. There you go, mate. Okay. Probably cranked a little longer on that one than we did with the others. Well, it says 190. I'd say the other one's probably the same as that. So we've got 3 that are up there. The one that's not very happy. Okay, mate. Okay. Yeah, it's got more than ample in all the other cylinders. Righto, bud. We'll get that camera out and see what we can see in the cylinder. Okay, we've got our box of pistons out. I don't know if I mentioned before, if you've got a con rod and its bearing shell fits on nicely, where you don't actually have to force it too badly, it slipped right off nice before. And if the bearing shells stay in there, it's a good indication it hasn't had a flogging. It hasn't pulled the rod, which wants to tend to want to pull the pins in. So if they slide on and off nice and easily, this one did. A really tight fit there, close fit. If I put a bit of oil on there, no doubt that would slide on there. Anyway, so we'll put new shells in it, I'll come back when we're ready to put a piston in. Okay, we've got just about everything there, I think. I've got my trusty ring compressor, my trusty oil can, the bearing shell already in, that journal down. I'll put a bunch of oil in the cylinder. Put a bunch of oil all through the rings, all through the rings. We'll just separate those gaps. There's one there, there. We'll whack that guy over there. Put some oil on the bearing. Drop a bit down the hole. Says front. Just sit it on there for a second while we load this fella on. Make sure we're hanging down nicely. I'll put a bit of oil up in there too. And we're hanging nicely. A bit of oil on everything. And our ring compressor. Set down nice and square. Further squeeze that in a little. In she goes. There we go. Now I knew that was going to go straight over the crankshaft because it's horizontal, vertical. So we're cool with that. While I'm here. No, I won't. I'll do what I normally do. I'll go and put the shell on and torque it. I like to do it one at a time. That way if I get interrupted by anything, I'm never forgetting anything. And forgetting things is a thing I do at my age. So 1325, 13 foot-pound and 25 foot-pound, 2 steps. And I like to make sure the thing turns over nicely still, spins good. And we'll go on to, oh, the clubby's back. And we'll go on to the next one. There you go. Everything's all back together again. Ball looks nice, pistons fit good. Nice and easy installation, got a nice chamfer on there, bevel. It's tight underneath. It's tight underneath. I can turn it by hand. If I had a little bit more ability, but yeah, not enough leverage on that journal. But yeah, that's okay. Now we'll get the sump back on it, and that's the bottom end of it's done. So there we are, the sump is back. The sump is back on. I'll get some tape now. I'll just tape this over because I want to wash all this down and make it look pretty decent before I put the cylinder head on it. And that'll do me for today. So I'll come back when I've got that cleaned up and say see you later then. And that's about enough of that. Next week I'll put the cylinder head together, put it on, and fit the new belt. Now we've got, I must remind you, remember there's a whole bunch of gaskets and stuff that came with this engine? So far all we've bought is the cylinder, the pistons to replace the other one. Set of rings, that was 320 bucks for the set with rings. And I don't remember what they said with the big ends were, but they wouldn't have been much, $50 or something like that. All the other gaskets we've got, and it's not too far away. Yep, have yourselves a goodie. We'll check you next week if you want to have a look. We'll see how we're going in the progress. And have yourselves a good one. Check you later. Cheers.